Ooh, what's good, Commanders fans? I know everybody's happy. Today is basically like a holiday. It is official. Josh Harris officially was voted to become a owner of the Washington Commanders. Magic Johnson, Mitchell Rails, like everybody's what do the young kids say? It's a parade in my city. He called into 106.7 of the fan because they're having the Burgundy and Soul party, and he bought everybody there a beer. What kind of owner does that? I mean, that's just an awesome owner. Where have you seen that from before from an owner? And we're getting a guy who grew up in the area, grew up in the DMV. In a press conference, he said he grew up watching Mark Ripien, The Posse, Art Monk, Gary Clark, Ricky Sanders, Mark Ripien. He remembers Sammy Baugh and the Hogs and all that stuff. So we got an owner, of course. He said he's a fan, but being a fan is not enough, and that definitely was basically throwing probably some shade of Dan Snyder, because Dan Snyder was a fan, but he just it's just not enough just being a fan of the team and being an owner of the team. You had to be a fan and a businessman at the same time. I think we're getting that with Josh Harris. I like how Josh Harris has handled things with the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, they haven't gotten past the second round, but he's a guy that has stepped back and he hasn't meddled with things. You see the report where earlier Jay Gruden. I know a lot of people are the biggest fans of Jay Gruden as a coach, but he was just being honest, and he said Dan Snyder. He said that Dan Snyder. This is quoted to say on a show. He said he wasn't experienced enough in the business to make those decisions. This was on the Kevin Sheehan radio show. It said Dan Snyder didn't put the work in for him to pick a player in the draft. It's asinine. He didn't put the work in. Basically, he said that Dan Snyder stepped in and had made an opinion on signings and also on draft picks as well. And I think you're not going to get that from Josh Harris at all, because with the Sixers, they trusted the process. They tanked. They got a bunch of draft picks. So he had no problems with them tanking. I'm not saying the Commanders should tank at all. Definitely should try to win as many games as you can this season. But he has no problems. Whatever the GM decides to do, Josh Harris rolls with it. He trusts the basketball minds. They ended up with Joel Embiid. They got Ben Simmons. Even though Ben Simmons didn't work out, Ben Simmons was a good player for them. They got James Harden. Even though James Harden one's out, he was a good player for them. And they made the playoffs a couple of times. They've been a perennial playoff team, and they have an MVP in Joel Embiid. So what I'm getting at is that he lets the basketball guys make basketball decisions. I think he's going to step in and let the football guys make football decisions, to make a long story short. Also, Dan Snyder did get slapped with a $60 million lawsuit, or he's going to be fined for $60 million. Mary Jo White, she did come out with the report today. She said that the conclusion is that he did sexually assault somebody in the workplace. And then Jason Friedman, his allegation of deliberate underreporting of NFL revenues by the club to avoid its VTS sharing obligations. She's going to fine him. Mary Jo White and the NFL, they're going to fine him for $60 million for that, for basically financial improprieties and not being honest about the ticket revenue sales, and then also the sexual harassment of an employee in the workplace. So Dan Snyder, he was not a good owner at all. Only one or two playoff wins in his tenure. The last time he won a playoff game was in 2005 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Very long time ago, almost 20 years ago. So it was time for him to go. So a lot of people are celebrating at the party, the Burgundy and Soul party. But yeah, I'm excited for Josh Harris. And look, we got a long way to go. We got to see what we got in Sam Howell. We got to see what we got in Eric Bieniemy. See how this year goes. We just got to find a quarterback. A lot of teams have had good owners, but just owners that you don't know of, they don't meddle with stuff, but they still have had their ups and downs. And there's teams that have had bad owners and still have found a way to be good just because they found a quarterback. So we just got to find a quarterback at the end of the day and have a good, solid foundation organization and get some good people in the front office. So they gotta get it. We'll see how this year goes, and then we'll see. But the first things that Josh Harris said that he wants to do, his first three priorities are football, improving fan experience, and getting involved with the community. Of course, they gotta patch up the stadium. No more stuff falling from the ceiling, sewage or whatever it was. No more rafters and seats falling down when all the Eagles fans were going crazy and almost broke Jalen Hurts' leg. No more of that. We got to improve the FedEx Field for what it is right now, because they're going to be here. They're going to be in FedEx for the next 5 or 6 or 7 years. Then you find a new stadium, and improving fan experience and getting involved with the community, of course. So that's a great way to get involved with the community, by buying everybody a free beer, for sure. So that's a great first impression there, for sure. So yeah, I'm reading the tweet from Adam Schefter. So Mary Jo White concluded her investigation, stated the Commanders Dan Snyder withheld approximately $11 million of revenue that should have been shared with other teams. The investigation also found that Dan Snyder sexually harassed a former team employee. White also noted that the Commanders failed to fully cooperate with her investigation. Snyder was fined $60 million. So enough about him. But other quotes that I'm seeing that really stood out from Josh Harris. Oh, Magic Johnson tweeted out, "God is good. I still can't believe it. I'm currently living in an answered prayer. Since the beginning of my journey as an athlete and now businessman and team owner, it's all been a dream that has come full circle. Grew up playing football as a kid. I'm a huge NFL fan." So that's good news. Good to see from Magic Johnson. Everything he touches, there's a lot of money involved. Owns the Dodgers. Showtime Laker legend, Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. Heck of a passer. The king of the no-look pass to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kurt Rambis and James Worthy and all those guys. So the $1 million smile, Magic Johnson. What else? Harris says, "I feel an awesome responsibility to the city of Washington. I know what I've got to do. Ultimately, it comes down to winning. It's on me and our ownership group to deliver." So it's all about winning, man. He can be a good guy and all that, but they have to win. They have to win to put butts in the seats. Week 1 against Arizona is definitely gonna be a lit. I know it's gonna be lit. There's gonna be a lot of people in there celebrating Dan Snyder not being the owner anymore, and it's a game that we definitely should win. We should win that game. We're 6.5 favorites right now. But we got to smell blood in that game. We got to put our foots on their necks and their dagger in the heart for sure. And the crowd's got to get involved in that game too. So that certainly will show the fan base and just the electricity and the energy of the fans right now. Since the fans were hyped up right now since Dan Snyder is gone. Josh Harris also says, "To our team and the incredible fan base in Washington, a new era of Washington football is here. It's time to get to work." So nothing but good things, man. Like I said, I mean, a lot of people. Some people from Philly, some Sixers fans, they have been hating on Josh Harris. They said he's not much of an improvement, but that's just insane to say. Philly fans are some of the toughest fans, and they boo Santa Claus, they boo everybody. So to say that about Josh Harris, I don't believe that at all. And he's a guy that he'll sit courtside with fans at games. Stan Snyder will not sit. You don't typically sit with fans in a football game, but still, like, he's not going to go to a Wizards game and sit courtside with fans. Like, I think Josh Harris will actually do that. He'll probably sit at Wizards games. He probably won't because he's the Sixers owner, but he probably will go to some Wizards games and interact with fans and just different events like the draft party. He might be there himself, interact with fans. Just other events. I feel like he's definitely going to do that and be way more personable rather than Dan Snyder always up in the booth trying to stay away from people and not do press conferences and just say, cringe or corny things like Happy Thanksgiving at a press conference. You're going to get a real guy who's authentic in Josh Harris, interacting with the fans and more personable and connect with fans and connect with people. And I think that's what you're going to get from Josh Harris. And I think he's a guy that's going to step back and let the football people do their thing and not come up on draft night and be like, "Hey, I want to draft this quarterback," or "Hey, I want to draft this guy." So I think that's what you're going to get drafted in Josh Harris. Don't know too much about the New Jersey Devils, but like I said, the Sixers, I like Joel Embiid a lot. He's an MVP candidate, and James Harden, he wants out, but still to get that talent, they got Jimmy Butler. The GMs did make some bad decisions with letting Jimmy Butler walk, and they chose Tobias Harris. But Josh Harris hasn't really put much of an input in that. They got a nice stadium out in Philly too. The Sixers stadium is not a bad stadium, Wells Fargo Arena. So just basing off that, and they've made it past the first round a couple times. We haven't made it past the first round in a long time. So I'll definitely take that success, even though it's not much success, but it's just something comparable. So excited, man. I'm excited for the future, man. I'm optimistic for sure. So you guys let me know what you guys think, man. Rookies report tomorrow, and then the pep rallies tomorrow too. So I'll try to react to that and stuff like that tomorrow. All right, you guys. Hail to Commanders. Peace.